So I'm going to be really quick and kind of some highlights about what we're seeing customers invest in successfully right now today. What are they thinking about for the kind of medium term, and where they're thinking and heading in the long term? Slides here are very much informed by our kind of tier one customers. So it is the larger insurers, and they include bank insurers as well. Smaller players. So we're seeing traditional AI capabilities mature, or being able to do so certainly we've seen traditional data landscape. We've seen things mature in the ability to do things like what is the next best action, what is the next best product to sell to a customer, and so forth, which has been informed by kind of limited set of data in most of our customers. Move those to models which benefit from a much richer set of information. And by that, I mean our customers are starting to think about how to bring kind of loyalty data in real time and see, hey, Rupert's just used a loyalty benefit. What does that mean for what I might want to do from a service perspective with that, with that customer? So those things are being done. At the same time, there's a great deal of interest in extended data to inform who we're targeting and how we're targeting it. Particularly in the local market, I know there's a lot of interest in saying, how can I use, for example, transactional information from a banking perspective to inform my sales process? And by that, I mean, if I'm a player like, for example, a Capitec entering the insurance market now today, can I look intelligently at the transactions that are going in and out of that account and say, hey, this person is someone that I could sell to, and probably my competitors might not be wanting to sell because I don't have a traditional history of pay slips and other bits of information which support their income. But I can actually predict whether or not they're a good lapse risk. I can reduce my cost of sales in getting, and I can also target people that my competitors can't target. There's a lot of interest in that, and that extends across the larger groups that we work with, where they have data that's multiple lines of business. So, of course, in South African market, we do lots of players who are involved in the medical industry. They're involved in many kind of complementary areas for advice and so forth, channel businesses. And so there's a lot of interest in saying, can I harness that data and use that to inform the decisions that I make about who I target and how I deal with my customers? It's a great deal of interest. We're seeing a lot of effort go into things like privacy protected insights between different parts of the business. So I'm not necessarily disclosing private information between the medical part of my business and the insurance part, but I'm still able to benefit from shared insights and models across those. And we have our big reinsurance customers like Swiss Re, Munich Re, and others who do a ton of sites which they glean from that data. They combine it with sophisticated weather modeling and other bits and pieces, and they can then repackage that and sell that back to a bank to provide insights around the risks associated with project finance and other things they're doing that relate to the particular geographical areas. And the two things I want to double click on. So one is in insurance, there's been a great deal of focus on automation, and that's unsurprising because there are lots and lots of processes, particularly if you go into the life side of the business, that are legacy processes. They're very, very difficult to automate. What we have to do so far in automation is to be able to do things like robotic process automation that solves the challenge of getting into different systems, capturing data, fetching data, and so forth. But it's still relatively simplistic, and we're very reliant on having teams out there who understand legacy product rules, can execute on those reliably, and we've got to keep those people skilled and working in those areas. This is an area of a lot of interest for us. And then in terms of the longer term bet, most of our customers are very, very ambitious about automating advice, sales, and service. I don't think that's going to be surprising to you because I know, sales costs a lot in the insurance business, number one. Number two, most of our customers have very high turnovers in their sales businesses. And number three, it's a regulated industry, but there are some reasons we think things may change here. With that, let's double click on kind of automation. So I mentioned a lot of traditional automation in the insurance business, this kind of robotic process automation, fetching data, and so forth. Where we act, the ability to bring generative AI to a process and couple it with this traditional approach over here. It enables us to do a lot of interesting things. So as a simple example, if you've got a legacy product that you're administering, You may have a team of 15 or 20 that's involved in, say, claims for a legacy product. There's a whole set of product rules. Then there's another policy on when we actually maybe make an actual payout to the customer. Then there are other bits and pieces that have to be taken into account for that product. So can I now go beyond just fetching the information from the systems that are required and capturing the claim information, but can I actually get it to read the information that sits within those documents and then make an informed recommendation to the agent who's working based on those documents? And the answer is yes. Be able to do this quite successfully from everything from claims, just dealing with the first notification of loss and so forth, through to things like complaints and so forth. Very encouraging. And second reason why we think this is exciting, and that's that this is democratized. So you may face the challenge, well, I've got 20 folks working on complaints, 10 working on legacy products for my FlexiCare product that I sold from 1980 to 1992. Can I really afford to spend millions of dollars of IT to try and automate those processes? It's like a tough ask from an ROI perspective. But if I can democratize this to the point where I can actually have that team able to actually automate the process, reference those documents and so forth, and get it through, then that shifts the needle considerably. And I can start making like significant inroads into my cost of servicing. And it goes a little bit beyond the cost of servicing in that I can maybe achieve more accurate outcomes, number one. But two, as I see staff turnover within those teams, I'm not so reliant on having everyone up to speed on the product rules that existed, the latest guidance, the latest risk policies and so forth in the business. AI can look at that and actually react based on what's there. So we're excited about this, and we're seeing lots of applications of this. In part, this comes from a technology perspective in the Microsoft world, from combining our low and no code platform, which we call the Power Platform, with generative AI tools. And so we've spent quite some time doing that. Generative AI in the form of something like our Microsoft 365 Copilot, you've probably done it in a way which is very on what you push into the system. You're asking questions, you're prompting what to do. This is less about that. This is more about the system actually picking up and saying, oh, I can do this, I can provide you this guidance and so forth. So it can work as an agent that works alongside you. One more thing about this type of approach, from a compliance perspective, there's tremendous upside to these types of strategies when it comes to compliance. And in particular, we see potentially can move when it comes to looking at individual processes from the realm of saying, we inspect 5% of our interactions with clients and see whether we comply from a financial needs analysis perspective, from a client interaction, from a documentation perspective, and so forth. Can I create an AI agent that will go and actually look at the process, inspect it, and report back on the compliance that's taking place over there? Can I move from doing things on a test basis to actually analyzing every single interaction? And can I do that at a lower cost than I'm actually in for today in terms of doing things on a test basis? And then I mentioned, finally, to kind of wrap up with this, a lot of interest in AI-driven advice. And really it's coming from two angles, kind of pincer movement. The first is to say, in the affluent sector, can I reach more customers by lowering my cost of sales? I have a bar for affluent customers. So if I'm a UBS today, I have a bar of, say, $1 million of investable assets to deal with my wealth team. And suddenly, everyone has such a bar, and it's driven by the cost of sales. But can I bring that down and then address a much bigger market by automating what's there? Stage one, this is certainly going to be assistive. So by that, I mean, it's going to be assistance for the actual wealth manager or the relationship who's involved. But at the same time, in all types of markets, particularly when we look at the mass market, are people actually getting the best possible advice they can? Probably not in the local market. And that's driven just by the types of interactions we have, the RE certifications and so forth of the individuals who are dealing with those customers today. So can we automate that? And you'll have regulatory questions. You'll have questions about, can this all be done? My recommendation is start thinking about these things today rather than further down the line. You might not get a product in market tomorrow, but you'll start addressing some of those concerns from a regulatory perspective, from a product perspective. Are your products suitable for these types of automated channels? And so we already do have customers who reported back to us in the South African market that trained AI to pass RE exams in the market. And they've already started with some of those automated compliance inspections and so forth using AI. So lots of exciting times ahead, I think, both in the short and medium term that we see as Microsoft in the AI space and insurance. And I think I'm at time.